Hey, good morning. Just quickly wanted to document what's going on here for you guys before I leave for work. Where I left things last night, where the Pharaoh light infantry units were about to activate, and they did. And so I'm going to show you what's going on there. And then I just want to show you where things, where my thoughts are, because I think things might change pretty dramatically the next time I pop on the camera. But so the bow fire came up, and I haven't fully figured out the best way to use these guys with their 5 movement. One thing is the slingers can't orderly withdrawal because they have the same movement, 5 movement for both of them. So when the bows come up, the bows can fire from 2 hexes away. The slingers are stuck there and they have to take it. They can't withdraw because of the same movement. But what I did was, I tried to do some, like for example, you see this bowman whose back, his rear is now turned to the slingers. I tried to advance him, fire, and then return back from where he came, kind of a hit and run tactic. But I didn't really have enough movement to do, to do the full return. He left him with his rear exposed. But what I've done is I brought up some bow here so that if anyone was to advance against his rear hex, can't quite see this in the camera, there would be opportunity fire to protect him. Anyhow, it's kind of experimental. But the main thing is the bows were ineffective. By the time you move, which is a minus to your dice roll, or I guess a plus in this game because you want low. But you've moved, so you have to add 1 to your dice roll. And then you're 2 hexes away firing. It's extremely low odds that you're going to do anything. I did chip away 1 TQ, which, you know what? This guy might have to do a route check. I have to see how that works in the missile and move in missile command phase. But anyhow, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys came up. No, they didn't really do anything, but they're positioning on the flank and doing their job. These guys I took out a column. Let me pull out a little bit. And I'm going to just set them up. I didn't want to advance them. The original idea was to advance them far up on the flank to kind of try and harry the rear. But now they're just setting up a screen to contend with these guys, engage these bow units, the Canaanite bow units, to protect the heavies. The shock infantry there coming up. Okay, and then the shock infantry for the Canaanites were able to start leaving the city, and they're starting to get organized here. But so here's what I just wanted to put on camera, because thinking this through, this doesn't really work. I've deployed the slingers incorrectly because they're here faced off against the front of the Pharaoh's army, these heavy infantry versus these slingers. And my idea was to to harry and to do some amount of damage, but nothing too substantial, and set up for the killing blow, route, do some damage, route, and then set up for the killing blow now that the heavies back here are ready to engage. So kind of to do this in waves. I like that. I still like the strategy, but this needs to be bowmen, not slingers, because they've only have a TQ of 2, which means that their orderly withdrawal is likely not to happen. Number 1, and then number 2, because they only have a range of 1 with their slings, by the time they get to engage in their reaction fire, the Pharaoh's units will be right in front of them, and they'll be trapped in shock infantry, which means they'll disintegrate. And when they disintegrate, they will they likely will not route in good order because the troop quality rating is so low. They'll probably just flee. So the problem is, if you leave these guys right in the center as a disrupting force, all it's really going to do is you'll get a reaction shot with each of these 1 guys as the Pharaoh's infantry moves into the hex in front of them. But beyond that, statistically, they're going to blow up. And when they blow up, they're not going to return probably to the city. They're going to return, or they're going to be counted as route points against the army. Now, you need 40 route points, and they've only got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of them are represented there. That's a quarter. That's not trivial. Actually, 12 are up there. And you expect to lose them all. But the bigger problem, the route points I'm less worried about. The bigger problem is you haven't slowed these guys down at all. Maybe you've gotten 1 to 2 TQs in aggregate down here, but now the Pharaoh's troops are sitting right in the front, and they really haven't been disrupted. So this needs to be a line of bow instead of slingers, because the bow have better troop quality. They're TQ3, so they have a much better chance of routing in order and successfully orderly withdrawing. And more importantly, they have a range of 2, so they'd be able to do a lot more harrying and hit and run tactics. They would be able to just put a lot more TQ damage on here than the slingers are going to be able to. Okay, so what they're going to do the next time you see this is, instead of staying here and facing off, these guys are going to, if they can activate before the shock infantry comes up on them, so I may need to do some trumping, but what they're going to do is swing all the way around here and get into this pocket. So instead of coming straight down the head on, we're going to veer off, and we've got enough movement to come down here. We're going to ignore these bowmen, allow our bowmen to come up and engage here. We're going to swarm down here. It's sacrificial. These guys I now expect to completely die, but I at least want to give as close to as well as I get when that happens. And at least they will be disrupting the flank, because if nothing else, these guys will have to stay 1 to 2 turns to contend, and luckily maybe even longer if the rolls go the right way. This unit or division or section of the battle will have to stay down here with the slingers, which means that these guys will have to advance in disrupted order, and right behind them we've got a good arrangement of bow that can start doing the hit and run to chip away that I just mentioned, and then they'll be a lot closer to having this our shock infantry attack. So that's what's going to happen to readjust the tactic. And then finally, the other thing is, I think my instinct now is that I advance too fast. I wonder if I should have, it would be very crowded, but if I just had everyone, maybe what I should have done is just had my slingers start coming out over here to create some real estate, set the bows out to roughly where you see my shock infantry now, and then get the shock infantry directly in front of the city and force these guys to come up and, I don't know. And then the slingers could have swung around. But the thing is that I'm pretty sure in this game that the advantage always goes to the offender, not the defender. Or, I think offense is better than defense. So, hard to say. But anyhow, those are my thoughts. And because I'm going to wait a couple, 2-3 turns until I put the camera on again so that this doesn't get too boring, I want to at least show you where my thoughts were on this before everything comes together. Talk to you soon.